So here's the situation, guys. I was supposed to just review BaiWei Megatron now. However, when I was supposed to wait for a specific member of the mechanical team, being Long Haul, I instead received let's just say that Long Haul looks a little bit different. Yes, instead of Long Haul, I received Beast Wars Megatron. Specifically the knockoff of the Masterpiece 43, and a happy accident by that. Don't worry, I contacted Show.Z and I'm gonna get a replacement if they still have it in stock, but of course they want me to review it as well, with no charge. That's nice. So today we're gonna take a look at both of them together. And if you want this guy or other figures in Show.Z.Store, make sure that you check them out in the description, and of course use my code MIKY to support creators like me. And speaking of supporting creators, make sure you also leave a like, comment and subscribe as well. Really mean a lot. But first, let's take a look at the first figure I got before the Toysmage Megatron. Let's just say the sculpture of this figure is pretty much similar to the Studio Series Megatron. However, the paint overall is beautiful. Instead of the workshop gray they are literally using for that Megatron, BaiWei decided to actually use the second cop release of the Studio Series Megatron, which being the battle damage version, and actually use the silver paint instead. And honestly, that is a better choice, since the Silver Megatron you need to get the battle damage version, which kind of is a bit greedy, if you ask me. But thankfully I waited for this one, which I didn't know was supposed to be released, but until then, yeah, it was worth your wait. Mainly due to it that you also get the upgrade kit, which is based off the DNA design, and which these function is that these are literally wings for the tank mode, and they can fold up and are meant to fill up the gap that was literally hollow inside. Speaking of also something that is from DNA design, you also get a replaceable hand, which works pretty well and is also quite articulated. Which I really do like that they actually included this optional hand, since original did not even have that. And of course you also get a very, well, pretty good sculpted battle damage face. However, my critique is that there should be a lot of chunks be left out. Like, there shouldn't be this piece being, well, kind of whole. I remember that this piece was pretty much broken, and the only piece that was remaining was this half. And then when you also put it on, you can also miss a lot of details that's literally inside. But what you do is just literally swap up the head, and then you just stick it in like so, and it should pretty much work like so. But again, there should be wires and chunks inside as well. But yeah, either way, all the overall paint apps that was pretty much there on the official is much more shinier, prettier than with this one than the original, since oh my god, I just love it's literally eye candy in general. Even the cannon has also really nice paint apps. And of course this is also the same cannon that you either have it standard or literally in blade mode, where he literally finish off Optimus Prime from the back. And that just looks menacing. You know, before he literally just blow his face off and literally just cut it off. I mean, nothing special about this figure, it's just a copy of the Studio Series Megatron, and every single con that was from that figure is still present with this one, and he's still solid in general. However, of course, given that this is not Hasbro plastic, it's still a really good plastic, don't get me wrong, but I feel like you still need to be careful when you literally play with this thing, because sometimes they can also get loose when you untap things, but still, it shouldn't be an issue. And I don't know if there's any diecast, since BaiWei is known for having diecast metal on some figures, but I still like it without diecast metal. Anyway, for overall articulation, it's pretty much standard with the regular release, so there shouldn't be any problem. And of course there's also the cap, which does look ugly, and of course you also get thumb articulation here, and of course folded up blade. And of course no waist or wrist, which is understandable, which is literally the same as the Hasbro version. However, I still don't like it that it's just regular 90-degree bend at the knee, but it's, well, what can you do? But I do like it that it has actually a really good pivot, and of course the toes can also articulate. What can I say? The overall articulation is pretty standard, but of course it's quite nice. And yeah, size comparison here we have it next to BaiWei Shockwave, and of course the first release of that BaiWei Megatron, which being the first BaiWei figure in my, as I know. And you can see that this guy literally, that these two literally copied from that Megatron, since they function pretty much similarly, with no waist and wrists. And speaking of which, I'm just gonna... Now this is definitive display. Anyway, let's move these guys out of the way and let's talk about the most impressive thing that ever happened to me, which is Megatron from Beast Wars. Yes. Now for the overall opinion, sculpting of the knockoff masterpiece, the Beast Wars Megatron is pretty awesome. It's hard to describe how this one compares to the official, given that I don't own it, since, well, that one is triple the price of this one, since this one's literally $100. The official is literally 300, and Jesus Christ. But what I can tell that this one is a little bit more darker than the original, the other one is more shinier. But this one in person kind of feels like the coloring of that Kingdom Megatron that I have. And before you ask, no, I cannot compare it with that one since I sold that guy. But I do say that the overall backpack is a little bit more compact and, well, not gonna say that it's the best thing ever. However, considering that what they are trying to do, I say that Takara did their best to try to be more, well, show accurate. Well, actually looking more like the show, but not to the degree that it looks kind of disgusting. I mean, I gotta say it's on point on what he literally looked like in the show. Even having these chunks of kibble that literally are literally here, that can also be, just like the original masterpiece figure, can be removed to display him in his light mode, as Takara literally described it. And of course you also get accessories that's pretty much like from the original figure, which is the blast effect part that can pretty much be stored inside this dinosaur mouth, which is pretty awesome. And he also has his hunting rifle that is pretty much based on just one episode from Beast Wars, and it also can tap into his hand. However, it is a little bit of a quite tricky fit, since this one is a knockoff, and of course he has kind of a bitch grip. Also, you don't get the two transparent pieces that's strictly for the display stand. And then you get the new tool expression, together with other two accessories, which being the angry face and of course the maniacal grin. Which of course the pupil being a little bit, I wouldn't say bad, but they kind of look a little bit off. Well, it's a knockoff, what do you expect? And of course it does also have the LED feature, which is pretty similar to the official. However, the voice lines for this one is with Chinese and of course English. So if you expect Japanese on this one, yeah, don't. Also, I'm not gonna show you that because it's gonna take forever, and of course I don't have batteries for them for now. I'll let you know in the future. Anyway, what this figure fixes over the official is that the waist isn't loose as hell, which was a big problem for masterpiece collectors, since you literally pay 300 and you get a loose ass waist, which this one is a pro. However, what was a con was, let's just say the when I got this tapping feature was a bit, I wouldn't say it's loose, it's just that it doesn't snap in properly. However, I fixed that with super glue, just let it, well, dry out, and now it taps in pretty easily. So it's still solid no matter what. And of course, out of the box, the ratchet joints was a little bit too tight for my taste, so I unscrewed those joints here, which was behind those covers. And now it moves pretty solidly. And of course the overall articulation is same as the original, so you don't expect anything different from this guy other than that the plastic, well, it's hard to say how the plastic is. All I can say is that it is pretty good plastic, and it's still high tolerance. Well, it kind of depends if your copy survives, since I got this by accident, so I still don't have any problem with my copy whatsoever, so yeah, this is pretty bonus. Oh yeah, I also forgot one accessory, which being, if you have him in his chill mode, you also get a toothbrush, which is meant for literally brushing his sharp as teeth T-Rex hand, which is also adorable and a bit lewd. You degenerates. Oh yeah, did I also mention that this Megatron is voiced by David K?
Yes.
Putting your ass?
I'm not saying it!
For size comparison, here we have him next to the Black Mamba DJD, aka an oversized Tarn, and of course Bingo Toys Spider-Girl, aka a third-party version of Black Arachnia. And what can I say, it's a pretty neat size. Well, for these two, on the other hand, this guy, well, let's just say that the Beast Wars cast is a bit smaller than the Autobots and Decepticons, since these were like human-sized than these guys. The inconsistency is insane. The inconsistency is insane. God damn it, my autism and Asperger. Anyway, as for the transformation, well, the BaiWei Megatron is pretty much similar to the official. However, you can either choose with the cannon or just the optional arm. And I do recommend using the optional arm, since if you want to have the wings, then you gotta use that one. Otherwise, the whole wing function will not work, considering the cannon is out of the way. And of course, you gotta be careful when you also transform him, since the plastic, while good, can also have the risk of breakage. So do be careful with that. With knockoff masterpiece Beast Wars Megatron, that was a really tricky one, since instead of just going from, well, beast mode to robot mode, you literally need to transform into beast mode, since this guy was packaged in robot mode. My goodness, was it a chore. But kind of get easier off camera. On camera, on the other hand, well, that was a little bit complicated, but hey, still, it's a little bit more understandable. I mean, they're trying to do more show accurate with these guys, so and considering they want to also have not that much kibble, and the Beast cast is known for in the Masterpiece line. And considering this was the fourth Beast Wars member in the Masterpiece section, before Black Arachnia and Tigatron, and of course the upcoming Rhinox, this one was the most, well, having less kibble. It was a little bit cleaner, like 90% clean. Not 100% clean, but it was pretty much spot on to the show model. But yeah, once I got the hang of it, it holds together pretty well. But here we have them in their alt mode, and I'm gonna say I do really like the overall transformation is quite tricky for Beast Wars Megatron, since it is a Masterpiece knockoff. It is a very involved one, and on camera it kind of is tricky, but off camera not that much. But take a look at the BaiWei Studio Series Megatron. Yeah, this is a very big upgrade from the Studio Series one for sure. I mean, just take a look at this Metal Slug alt mode, which we have the sculpted cannon, which is very nice, and of course the turrets that can, well, swivel up and down, and of course, just like the DNA upgrade kit, you have now the ability to literally have him just the regular kind of flying mode now, or the static, either with or without the upgrade kits. And if you want to do it kind of without parts forming, this is how you literally do it. And And I gotta say, I do love the overall ingenuity of the the overall tank. And considering this is you can literally display it with just on the static ground or just regular, just compact. And of course, he does roll well. And as for Beast Wars Megatron, I actually do love the paint apps. You can even see the overall face sculpt, and of course, since it is a knockoff, he also has the transparent eyes that literally just looks gorgeous. And of course, it is quite articulated as well, which I do love, that you have the ability to literally move the pupils. Yes.
I like you, pussycat.
And of course, the teeth itself, as always, they are very sharp. And of course, if you see down here, you have literally, there's the compartment where you can literally, use the batteries. But consider I don't have the batteries now, it is a bit tricky right now. But of course, inside you can literally store this blast effect part, and now it looks like he literally just firing lasers. That's just nice. And as for the overall, cable management, I do gotta say this is the most cleanest of, Dino mode that I've seen so far. Well, given that this is literally before the Kingdom one, so I do love that it is quite very nicely sculpted. And of course, I can't forget the bend here, which the T-Rex is known for. And of course, he doesn't have that much articulation, but what is there is pretty neat. Of course, his head, it can look up, down, side by side. Of course, the pupils move. His teeth can move. The bottom jaw can move, and of course the top. And he can roar very much, but also be careful with your teeth as well. Of course, he has, standard Jurassic Park post arms, which is on a hinge and swivel joints. And of course, you can rotate it for a little bit more accuracy of a T-Rex, though it does look like his arms have been broken off, so be careful with that. Of course, not much articulation for the upper leg, sadly, but the bottom can articulate that much. And of course, he has up, down, and a little bit pivot motion. And of course, these toes are articulated, and not that much for the tail, but what is there is it's nice. So overall, for the overall size comparison, I mean, here we have them side by side, and yeah, what more can I say? I mean, here we have him next to High Toys Godzilla, that's for sure. So overall, both BaiWei Megatron and Toysmage knockoff of Masterpiece Megatron are both really good figures in general, and I do highly recommend picking these guys up. However, BaiWei Megatron is pretty much sold out. However, I do know that they are gonna make a repaint, or literally a kind of a battle damage version of that guy, since they literally did a kind of a cleaner version of the BaiWei Shockwave, which was the second release. So it's inevitable. But the Toysmage Megatron is still on stock, so if you want this guy, you can literally pick him up for $100. And of course, do keep in mind that you need to modify some joints in order to get it as you want it to be, because let's just say that not all knockoffs are literally equal, and your copies may vary, so do keep in mind that. However, other than that, that's all I had gotta say about these two. There's nothing much more to say other than that they are knockoffs based off official products, and they are really good knockoffs. Is there something more to say? Well, other than that, if you like what you see about this, if you like what you see and want to see more of these kind of videos, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And of course, follow me on Patreon, and of course my YouTube membership for $1 per month, which is completely optional, and follow my other social media in the description. But other than that, until then, I'll see you all next time.